12 jurors have sat in Manhattan at this point. It's sort of amazing they've been able to do this so quickly. There's been a lot of talk about various media outlets, including Fox, but also NBC News, that have gone into some of the details of these jurors. And frankly, apparently the judge has said, you can't do this. But the fact is, you sort of can. This is the nature of our criminal system. If it's in open court, then it's an open court and it can be reported upon. There may be circumstances where you need to protect the identity of jurors. I think there certainly has been some history of some mafia cases where that's been done on some level. So maybe there's mechanisms in which to do that, but that hasn't been done. It would be better if the media was a little bit more circumspect, but of course they're not going to be, depending on what their incentive structure is at any given time. But this take on Trump's criminal court trial, I should say, is pretty stunning. I guess when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And this guy, and he was, before he was I know he's been on Canadian television. In fact, I remember him having a debate with, I think, somebody about climate change 10 years ago, I feel like. That we had talked about on this program. But here is that guy from, you may know him from Shark's Tank. What number is this? I get
14.
Oh, 14. Yeah. He's this Canadian guy, Kevin Mr. Wonderful O'Leary. I don't know why they call him Mr. Wonderful.
I think he gave himself that nickname. Probably.
Yeah. Incidentally, I refer to myself as Sam Great Guy.
Gregarious.
They just do. But here is Shark Tank investor Kevin Mr. Wonderful O'Leary on with Fox's Harris Faulkner on Outnumbered on Fox. And here is his take on the Trump trial.
You got to check out YouTube every now and then for a calm Stephen A. Smith. Everybody had a comment about that. I'll start with you, Kevin.
I have a different take on this case, and I just want to preface my words saying before I comment, I've talked about these cases in New York now for months. This really, and every time I bring this up, I get all this Trump stuff. Forget about Trump, okay? We don't do this in America. We don't go after the office of the president with porn star cases. We give a broad swath of latitude. And if you're an ex-president and you murdered somebody, I get it. Or been
Pause it
accused
for
of
one
murder.
second. I'm relatively familiar with American history, and I don't remember any type of porn exemption to our laws. But let's be clear. This is a criminal trial for actions he took prior to being president. A.
Yep.
B, the issue isn't whether she's a porn star or whether she's a housewife or whether she's a lawyer or an insurance, adjuster or a contestant on Shark's Tank. The bottom line is Trump committed fraud to hide payments that he knew were illicit under federal election law. That's it. It doesn't matter who she is. It doesn't even matter that it was an affair. It doesn't matter that it was a man or a woman or anything. He could have paid off people for other things. And if he had done the same type of fraud, it would be in there. The only reason why Shark Tank guy is paying attention to it, apparently, because it's so much more sordid for him because she was involved in porn, that it somehow is like you should get a special dispensation.
Well, the good thing they gave that dispensation to Hunter Biden, all those conservatives. Oh, wait, they just combed through his entire laptop, even though he wasn't accused of anything close to what Trump is doing, just so they could see more pictures of him naked.
Latitude. And if you're an ex-president and you murdered somebody, I get it, or been accused of murder. But what is this? This hurts the American brand. I keep saying that. I was in Geneva last week, 150 countries represented there. Everybody's talking about this, saying, what is this porn star thing? Like, this is an American president. This is the office of the United States of America's highest office. And we're doing this? This is sheer stupidity. And I'll tell you what should happen. This should be pushed until after he wins or doesn't win.
I would bet everything he owns, that those people in Geneva weren't coming up and going, like, this is bad for your country, that they're actually putting him on trial for this stuff. As opposed to
him doing
he's
it?
bad for your country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that is like a common refrain if you talk to people outside of the United States, that Trump is a clown and bad for the country. Not the prosecution of Trump for being a criminal is bad for the country. And this is all the way, by the way, the second time that O'Leary's been going on cable news to go to bat for one of Trump's cases. He was also defending him in the fraud trial, the civil fraud trial, saying that this was going to hamper American ingenuity and investment. Like, I guess, I don't know what he's angling for here, but it's clearly to be in Trump's orbit.
I also wonder, like, nobody brought up anything happening with Israel and Gaza or anything like that. It was all just this whole porno trial. What's going on with that?
No powerful people are going up to Mr. Wonderful to say anything.
Sheer stupidity. And I'll tell you what should happen. This should be pushed until after he wins or doesn't win. This should be not part of this election cycle at all. And this is not a Trump-loving comment. This is about the American brand, where I bring capital from all around the world to invest here. We look like clowns.
Yes.
I hate this.
Yeah. Emily.
I'm not going to invest in your project because porn's case.
Sure.
I Hammer, Chris Surida, reminds me, there was an incident, and folks probably don't remember this because this was so obscure and so long ago, but there was actually an incident where millions of dollars were spent on an investigation around a real estate deal that ended up basically releasing a whole report on how the president received oral copulation from someone who was not his wife. And in fact, the Republican Party attempted and did impeach, at least in the House, this president, that being Bill Clinton. Now, somehow we managed to get past that with around the world.
The American brand.
This huge, the whole American brand. I guess it's just one thing to receive oral copulation versus one thing where you, I don't know, pay to bury a story. I'm not sure exactly.
I think maybe the American brand should be a secondary consideration for things like prosecutions.
Yeah.
We're getting this whole rule of law reputation, and that's not cool, man. We'll talk more about the case perhaps later in the program.